Shalom, and give all honor and praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, QADASH, allowing us to do the other Apostle Great Millstone for teaching to the Church of Syracuse, I teach to vote for that. We're going to be another edition of Obedience is Better Than Disobedience, Esther account. The subheading for this lesson will be I going to the king, not according to the law. Okay, so I'm going to start in Esther chapter 4. This one, Esther learns of Haman's plot. Basically, Haman's, he basically committed, he was promoted to be like a kind of like a prime minister unto Xerxes. And then, he basically learned of how the Jews, which were referred to the Israelites, but the Jews as a system of, Judah, the tribe of Judah, or not tribe, but Jews like the southern kingdom, which was Benjamin, Levi, Judah. He learned that they follow the law, but they don't follow the king, so they follow the law of YAHAWAH. Okay. And they only worship YAHAWAH, and Haman saw how this was a violation of the king's law, right? So he basically ordered, the king to basically send a command out or decree out to on Haman's behalf to basically slaughter or to, murder, okay, not even kill, but murder all the Jews, right? All the basically the whole southern kingdom, men, women, children, both men, women, children, young, female, and men, women, and children, female and male. Okay, on the 13th day of the 12th month, which is a month, basically a heathen month, a heathen holiday, or not even holiday, but a heathen, just a heathen holiday, a heathen feast day, which was a month at Adar. Because Haman, he was the so it was a piece of Purim, okay. So actually, so the month of Adar, is now known as the basically month of Purim, right, which is basically the celebration of the victory of over Haman's plot. But so Chris Haman, he was an Agag guy, he was a heathen, right? So I'm just read here Esther 4:1. It says, when Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes, meaning he tear his garment basically, and put on sackcloth with ashes, and went out in the midst of the city and cried with a loud and bitter cry. Okay, so he was in a state of mourning. He came over before the king's gate, for none might enter to the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. Makes sense. In every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes, right? Because these different scribes, right? They went into every province, and there were Jews, and basically in every province to basically give a copy, or to get a copy of the province leaders, right? Basically the governors per se that were ruling over the different provinces, to what to do when that day coming, to that day coming, when the 13th day of the 12th month coming, and all the Jews, of course, all the Jews that was living in the different provinces they heard about, and they basically was in step one. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not. Then called Esther for Hatch, or one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was, and why it was. So basically, she's referring to the decree, the king's decree. So Hatch went forth to Mordecai to the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. Mordecai told him of all that had happened to him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay to the king's treasury for the Jews to destroy them. All right. And he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king to make supplication unto him, basically to beg, to earnestly beg unto the king to basically to renounce his decree, and to make a request before him for her people. And Hatch came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again Esther spake unto Hatch, and gave him commandment unto Mordecai. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, should come unto the king into the inner court, who is not to call him, there is one law of his to put him to death, except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter, that he may live. But I have not been called to come into the king's these 30 days. And they told Mordecai Esther's words. Okay, and then Mordecai commanded to Esther, think not with that thyself that thou should escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. All right, so I'm going to read that too. It says, Mordecai sent this reply to Esther, don't think for a moment that because you're in the palace you will escape without other Jews are killed. Right, because Esther, she's a Jew too. All right, so without your decree that the king sent to destroy all Jews, all right, you also had to destroy Esther too. Esther had to perish along with her nation. All right, so let's see. So let's see if Esther, how she's gonna react to this. Okay, was she, not going to the king, or was she going to the king? Was she going to the king and risk, getting punished or put to death by the king? Or But she's not going to the king and risk her whole nation getting destroyed, and her likewise. So ultimately, if she do or if she don't, right, she gonna get put to death. She do go on the king, she might get put to death. She don't go on the king, she will probably get put to death. For thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this. Alright, so let me just read that to you. As if you keep quiet at a time like this, deliverance and need for the Jews will arise from some other place. But you and your relatives will die. We know that perhaps you will make queen for such a time as this, right? So that makes sense, right? You know, the Lord, he put Esther, he set Esther up, right, to be the, you know, sort of say the princess, because there's the word queen. You can say queen, but the word queen just isn't like word. I hate that word though. Because we're there's no such as a queen. There's no queen. Especially back when the queen doesn't exist in heavens. You have the word princesses and princes, right? But there's only one. Because a queen basically is a queen. Is a queen, basically a woman that rules over male, right? She basically rules over male, right? No, that's out of order in heavens. Right? Basically, the queen is the one that ruled over the male, right? But so Esther plans to intercede. So Esther bade them return Mordecai this counsel. Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I'll also in my native will fast likewise, and so while I go into the king, which is not according to law, and if I perish, I perish. Right? So this account here shows that Esther obeyed, okay? And she obeyed and she had faith, right? You know, and she basically had mastered that if she perished, then she perished. If she died, she died. So Mordecai went his way and he did according to all that Esther had commanded him. Okay. You know. So through Esther's obedience, guess what? You know, the Jews, right, 17, you know, they didn't get put to death, right? You know, they didn't get slaughtered. Okay. So here's a little short lesson. So let's see if I get all the praises to YAHAWAH. YAHAWASHI. QADASH.